On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Spartan Chamber itself, talking about how and why it started, go over its first year, and then end on the note on what's coming next. This is the first episode of the Spartan Podcast. Right, so before we dive in, we might as well start by introducing ourselves. I'll let you go first.
Right, so my name is Ryan Atkins. I'm Spartan Chamber owner and founder, also known as the happy little bold lad that shouts at people to move faster.
And I'm Ryan Hawkins. I instruct sweat, pretty much live here, and known as Big Rye or Hemsworth. I'm not really. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of talk to Ryan on this one because today's themes, as I said, we're going to be talking about the Spartan Chamber itself. So let's just dive straight in, mate. How and why did you start the Spartan Chamber?
Yeah, so the Spartan Chamber, to start with, was, it started about 3 years ago when I was still in the Marines at that point. I was based at 40 Commando, due to go away on exercise to Norway. About 2 days before I went, I managed to bust all the ligaments in my ankle, meaning that I wasn't medically fit to travel. Anyways, long story short, my company went off and I was left with a lot of free time back on camp, not actually doing a lot. So what I decided to do was start an Instagram account like anyone does in the fitness industry now. And once I started the Instagram account, it was more just to get across the ethos of fitness and working hard. And before I knew it, I started having people messaging, asking if I would take on clients. So at that time, I just transformed my garage into a little PT studio. So working from home, managed to pick up my first client, which was wasn't expecting, to be fair. I didn't realise the level of client I would have to start with. I thought I'd just be getting a few people trying to lose a few pounds, and the first client I managed to land was an ex-professional rugby player. And from then on, we just put on content of training with him and putting him through his paces. And from there, it snowballed really. Started getting more inquiries, and before I knew it, that was it really.
So on the first one, it was just specifically for PT clients?
Yeah, just specifically for PT clients, just wanting to change. Obviously, my time in the Marines opened my eyes to fitness. I was always come from a sort of more like a bodybuilding background, if you like. Classic going in the gym, just doing bis and tris, chest and back. And
I think everyone does, to be fair.
Yeah. So it was the thing. Even like 5-6 years ago, the fitness industry has changed massively ever since. At that time, So and then obviously I'd come away from the Marines and opened my eyes to a whole different level of training, really, into the fitness side of things, more the functional training that I decided actually I really enjoy and I wanted to pass on to others at the same time. And my clients at the time seemed to really take on that sort of training style, and obviously we've grown from there, really.
When I got into it, I only got into anything physical, fitness-wise, beginning of 2017. I've had no sport background at all. So I started then, and I don't know when you opened up the second Spartan Chamber, but that's when I started following you on the socials, because I was pretty much doing bodybuilding, bro splits with my friends. It wasn't really for me, but I was doing it because I didn't know what to do. So I followed you, but I was pretty much contracted into a gym membership. But I used to, I'm not going to lie, kind of steal stuff that you posted to do in the gym in my own time. So when you did the second Spartan Chamber, which was at the local rugby club, what made you spring to go there?
Yeah, so obviously my first client, Mr. Bradley Field, he put me in touch and said that the local rugby club had a gym that, for lack of better word, was slightly dilapidated. Could do with doing up a little bit. It was a good little size. It was slightly bigger than my garage at the time. Had a little bit of equipment in, so your classic sort of iron dumbbells, a pull-up bar and some cables. A little bit run down, but it was a good space. So I managed to go in there over the space of a weekend with help from my friends and my wife. We managed to get the place looking pretty up to scratch, and it looked like a decent space. Especially what it allowed me to do was go from training one person at a time to probably more like 2-3 people at a time in the group. In the same sort of detail there. So we ended up moving into that situation, carried on doing what we were doing. up my social media presence a little bit more, and just again snowballed from that. We just got real busy.
Was that still PT based there?
Yeah, still PT based. So what I was doing there, at the time I was moved from 40 Commando in Taunton down to 4-2 Commando in Plymouth. So I was coming back 3-4 nights a week from Plymouth, training people in the evenings and at weekends, and just building up that clientele base to the point where, it started getting really, really busy.
Well, damn, I didn't actually know you were based in Plymouth when you were there.
A lot of travelling.
How long was that one there for?
Yeah, so we were at the local rugby club for around about, I'd say, just over 12 months probably at that point. Got to the point where, realised that they wanted to start charging rent, probably a little bit more than what I realised we could afford at the time. So I looked around at local units. Obviously, with agreement with my wife, decided that we'd go a little bit more big time this time and take on an industrial unit that we're in at the current time, and move it from more of a PT basis into more of a group functional based Spartan Chamber. At the time, I didn't really know what we were going to be turning ourselves into.
That is it's a massive jump as well.
Massive jump,
massive risk.
Yeah.
What was the implications of that with your wife in terms of, we want to change this to an actual gym rather than a PT-based gym?
Yeah.
How confident were you it was going to be successful enough to run?
Yeah, so
it's a massive risk. I'd be nervous, but
Yeah.
with different people. So
yeah, massively, and I fully agree. I mean, Emily's always been really supportive. As you can, if you go back through any of the Instagram pictures, she's always been the one painting. Even when, obviously, we moved into this unit that you see now, she was heavily pregnant at the time. We were expecting our first child, and she was here 9 o'clock at night painting the walls. So she's always been behind it massively, and obviously couldn't have done it without her, really.
it's wicked because obviously it's proved to do well. And then I actually messaged you just before you opened, because I work in West Park, and I thought, cool, if he's coming out to West Park, I might as well have a little looky, because I liked the idea of what was happening at the rugby club. So I popped my head in, and it was just a fully functional gym.
Yeah.
With a twist, really. It's local, it's owned by a local lad, and it's a different atmosphere as well.
Yeah, definitely. So at the time, obviously, when I opened up the Spartan Chamber, 3.0, if you like, I didn't really know what sort of gym it was going to be. I just knew I wanted it to not be stereotyped into one. So, for example, I didn't want just to have bodybuilders here. I didn't want to just have CrossFitters here. I didn't want to have anyone just doing calisthenics here. I wanted it to be for everyone, so it was an inclusive group, rather than just pinpointing one specific point of fitness, really. And I think that's where our niche stands.
Yeah, it was even that point today, I like the CrossFit sort of stuff. Really like it. I love the fact that it's all functional and you just move everything. I love it, but I do love the bodybuilding side of things too. But if you did anything CrossFit at the gym just down the road from Spartan Chamber 3, people would stare at you.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's fine here. You can do it here. It's wicked.
Yeah, it's real nice, and I think the nicety about all of this is that it allows everyone to see different aspects of training. Like, I know we've got like a few strong men that come down here, and we got a mix of all different backgrounds, and people see people trying different movements, and because of the friendly atmosphere that we've managed to create, everyone's happy just to join in with someone. If so, for example, like yourself, you've probably been in here before. Like, you've just got into your Olympic lifting, which I know you've done with a lot of the members, and that's not something you knew before you came here. You've just practiced and you've joined in with other people, really, and that's what we're all about down here.
So when you opened up Spartan Chamber 3, obviously the main thing with the Spartan Chamber, which appeals to a lot of people, is the sweat classes we do.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us through starting the sweat classes, your first couple of weeks of doing them, and everything like that? Yeah,
definitely. So we opened up last Christmas now, and I remember opening up a week before. I remember sitting in the gym. I was sat in here from about 6 o'clock in the morning until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Not a single person had walked through the door. At that point, I just left the Marines a week before, and I was thinking that I'd really, really messed up.
But as I say, that sounds like a gut punch. Sat all day. It picks up though, so the story does get better.
Yeah, definitely. So then, obviously, more and more people. I just kept posting on the social media. Obviously, at that point, I had my personal training clients at the time. So, and before we knew it, everyone just started snowballing. We started getting real busy. I wasn't originally going to do classes, funnily enough, when we first opened, but it was something that people requested. So before we knew it, I decided after about 3 weeks of opening, we'll start rolling with the classes. Remember the first sweat class, we didn't have anyone turn up. I turned up at 6 a.m. I did that 3 mornings in a row and no one turned up. So, yeah, it was at that point I started panicking even more. But obviously, as you can tell for yourself, we've managed to slowly pick up the class sizes.
Yeah, well, I joined, I want to say halfway through the first month of it being open.
Yeah.
And when I started doing the sweat classes, there were about 6.
Yeah.
There was about 6, 7 people. And that shot up within a quarter of a year.
Yeah, it seemed to be from that period, from sort of like January up until the end of February, we just seemed to be gaining members left, right and centre, which was great.
Basically, when I started, Instruct then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
That's why.
It's a coincidence, that right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's definitely the point now. And now we've got to a nice stage where anyone that comes down, obviously just before this close down happened, knows that the classes are pretty rammed back to back. And yeah, it's great to see, really.
It's good because the classes got busier. Everybody got more fond of each other, became more friendly with each other. And then you decided to do Spartan Chamber games.
Yeah, definitely. That was a turning point, I think.
Yeah, at the time, as a client, I wasn't even working here. I was just a gym goer. I've never done any competing, anything in the world competitive. I didn't actually want to do it, but there was a space on the team and I wanted to do it. So coming from me, someone who's not competitive at the time, it was a wicked experience, as it must have been for probably over half the people doing it.
I'd say probably as first Spartan Chamber games, about 50% of people that had competed that day had never done anything like that before. So it was great to see. Obviously, we've got a lot of support from all the other local gyms sending in teams as well. So it was nice to it really projected our name out of there at the same time.
Good.
Obviously, because we don't fall under that CrossFit umbrella, we don't pay the affiliation fee or anything like that. I think sometimes people wonder what we sort of do over here. But that day, I think, opened a lot of people's eyes to say, yeah, fair one, they can run a good comp. And the standard of fitness down here has just seemed to have got better ever since.
It's good. Then when we did the Spartan Chamber Summer Games later on that year, it was just as mad. It was just as buzzing in here.
Yeah.
And we had more people, different people as well, coming in. We had different teams. And actually the Spartan Chamber teams, we kind of mixed up, but we also had different people from the Spartan Chamber competing too. And again, we had other gyms coming in, some of them CrossFit gyms, some of them not.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is wicked.
Yeah, it was great to see as well. And I always say as well, with people that are coming down here, it's such a diverse bunch of people, if you like. We haven't got any, it's not all just young lads, it's not just young girls. We've got, if you come into any sort of sweat class, it's complete different age range. We've got people that are 50, 60 years old coming in. Arguably, some of them are the fittest members we have, all the way down to sort of like your 18-year-olds that are coming in doing training for the first time. So, yeah, it's great to see, and everyone gets on quite well.
Yeah, it's good. Like, just going on from the games, I think the thing after we did was Commando Challenge. That come next?
Yeah, it's a Commando Challenge. So what I decided was, obviously, we do a lot of stuff people competing, and like you said yourself there, you didn't necessarily want to compete to start with. So I thought it'd be nice to go and give the Commando Challenge a go for those people that want to do something more like a Tough Mudder, something that's just more of a friendly race, if you like, at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't actually go. I was away that day, but I was gutted I didn't go because everybody went. It was huge.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, and I find this happens with a lot of things. People build it up in their head to the point they're so scared to do something, and then once they do it, they've absolutely loved it. I reckon there's definitely at least half the group that went on the Commando Challenge. They didn't want to do it to start with, and they smashed it. And for me, it was a real proud moment to be able to take everyone down to Woodbury Common, where we do a lot of our training, and we had the biggest group, if you like, out of all the teams that competed that weekend. There was over 150 teams. Not
mentioning if we had the biggest group, but that's also the biggest group of people who didn't know each other less than a year before.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So the unit it made within half a year or so is unbelievable, really.
Yeah, I never thought that when we started this, it would take off like it has. So, for example, with the summer ball as well, great, probably one of my favourite nights of last year. That was made by a good friend, Louis Rudge and Faye Kite, to raise money for the charity that he was raising at the time for mental health awareness in the military. And that was one of the best nights we've had. We had over 120 people attend, and it just shows the sort of level of camaraderie that we've got down here at the same time. I could never have imagined it over a year ago.
No, not at all. It was also, on that night, I went with Ellie, my wife, and I'm not going to lie, even though that was over halfway through the year, there was still maybe half the room I didn't even know.
Yeah,
definitely. Honestly, I didn't even know, because there's so many people with such a massive unit. But it's mental how big it's got. And then when we did the Christmas party, obviously doing the instructing the sweat classes, I kind of started remembering faces as well. Unfortunately, obviously the Christmas party was smaller than the summer ball.
Yeah.
But we still packed out at the bottom of
Cozy Club.
Yeah, packed out at the bottom of the Cozy Club. And it's amazing because at that time everyone was pretty much mates as well.
Yeah.
Not just gym goers. We were actually friends as well.
Yeah.
Which is great. Probably, obviously doing everything we do together and then making the members page on Facebook as well, which I think I made a few months after joining, mainly just to organise training with friends. It was nothing more than that. It wasn't supposed to be anything official. It was supposed to be just who wants to train today at 4. And then that just spiraled and it's just completely turned into its own thing, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably not more, but as popular as our official Instagram pages and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to see everyone chatting. It's good to see all the different sort of groups that everyone's managed for. I like, personally myself, half my mates are now all just related down to the Spartan Chamber. And yeah, is that sad?
No, because I'm in the same boat, I guess. But no, I think it's good, especially at the moment with everybody not being able to go to the gym. I said to you about 10, 15 minutes ago. That's a lie. We've been on air for 15 minutes. I said to you about half an hour ago. We haven't been to the gym for like 5-6 weeks, but the members page is on fire with everybody posting workouts, what they're doing, competing against each other. We've got these My Zone belts, which is just, again, boosted us into this friendly competitiveness as well.
Yeah.
So we're constantly going at each other. We're not even going to the gym at the moment, which I think is mental.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the My Zone belts couldn't have come in at a better time, personally. Just for the shutdown, it gives everyone that little bit of accountability at the same time. I mean, I got the idea from Danny at Training Space, because them guys come down earlier part of this year. And he obviously said to me, it's a great bit of kit for everyone to keep accountable and keep on top of each other. It shows actually how hard you're working.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to coming back once we reopen to be competitive with each other face to face with these belts. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, when everyone's got their scores on the doors up on the screens, it's going to be real interesting.
Yeah, it'd be a game changer.
Yeah. Well, coming back to like Danny at Training Space, for example. Before I started up the Spartan Chamber, I'd seen his gym online. And yeah, it was really inspiring. It was like something I hadn't seen before. And it was real nice last year, moving on to our next sort of subject of going up to when we went to Essex, to be able to take up a team of 15 to go to his gym, compete with the guys up there that are ridiculously fit. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a big advocate in life. If you see someone doing well at something, don't be afraid to go and ask them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that like to go, yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah.
Screw that guy, he's got everything. But yeah, just go, pick people's brains. I say the same thing with everyone's training in here. If you're in here and you see someone that's good at something, and this is the nice thing about the Spartan Chamber, go up to them, ask them. Everyone here is friendly, they'll teach you. This is essentially how you learn your Olympic lifting.
I don't think there's anybody who trains here with headphones on.
No.
So you can always approach them. Because some gyms, this is not bad mouthing other gyms, but I've been in situations where just like doing bench press, I needed a spot because I was getting heavy and I wasn't training with anybody. Some gyms you can't ask someone to spot you because no one's talking to each other.
Yeah.
I know a lot of gyms have a good community and stuff, but here I just think it's a different story when it comes to the community side of things. Again, we had a really tight community within about half a year and nobody knew each other the year before. If you
Yeah.
understand what I mean.
The only reason this gym has been successful is for the members that we've managed to gain, and that is without a doubt. Without the members we've managed, it wouldn't be like it is.
Yeah, going forward, it can only get better as well.
Can only get better.
It can only get better, which is going to be our next point. What's next?
What is next for Spartan Chamber? So obviously, I have big plans this year. Before obviously the lockdown that has happened at the moment. My game plan for this year is obviously we're looking at trying to get an expansion on the go, because at the moment, as anyone knows that's come to an open gym, it gets a little bit chaotic in here if you've got more than sort of 10 people downstairs chucking barbells round and having a little bit of fun. So the look is trying to get a bit of expansion. I won't elaborate on that too much because it's in the pipeline at the moment, and obviously just try and get the doors open as soon as we can, which obviously is down to whatever restrictions are lifted at the time.
Yeah, so that's wicked. Obviously, we got the podcast. Hopefully you listen and we can do some more. But yeah, hopefully expanding online as well.
Definitely.
I don't want to say anything about that yet because we've only just been talking about it. So hopefully expanding in the actual gym and online, well, within the year.
Yeah, if something comes out of this lockdown at the moment, it's made me realise how much of the online presence that we need to increase. Obviously, yourself, right, you've been mega busy, and I'm sure everyone can tell that, of posting your online content, and I know a lot of people have enjoyed it. So, yeah, I mean, elaborating on that moving forward as well, I think a lot of people are going to find quite helpful.
Yeah, I'm excited to start doing that and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Be a different ball game.
The main thing we've had to change from last year is obviously building a team around us as well, and obviously getting the likes of Kelly, who's been here from day one. She's been spot on with her spin classes, and I know it's been great to see her personal development as well throughout the whole year as well. And obviously bringing on yourself, Rye, a member that was down here, started smashing his training, which I'd love to see.
I did.
He did smash it. And then obviously bringing on people like Christine, who does our yoga, and she's got all the experience she brings with that, and Ollie Minshaw with his barbell classes is our Olympic lifting coach. So yeah, I mean, when we're moving forward, it's trying to keep and broaden everyone's horizons to educating everyone on lifts and health and well-being, and trying to be that all-round package that maybe other places don't sort of offer.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. And I think in the long run as well, because I've kind of had my own little realisation. I've learnt a hell of a lot of new skills over the last year or so. Just going forward, like expand. If the expanded. I'm stuttering now, mate.
It's all right.
Just expanding the gym. Depending what we can do, it'd be great to get even more types of classes going. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It'd be great. You'd get everybody in. Then I reckon everybody should just quit their gym and just come here.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, so yeah, it's been about 25 minutes, I think. So that's episode 1 of the Spartan Podcast.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it, guys.
Yeah, be sure to give it a like, give it a share. For the time being, we're going to be uploading these to Instagram TV, and depending how they go, we're looking to distributing them over Spotify, Apple Music, all streaming platforms. But yeah, we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thank you for listening.